start the recording, and then I will just be a minute or so while I look for something to talk about.
All right.
Attackers incoming. Stop the payload.
Get back in the fight. I cast this forth.
Activating the barrier. Barrier is
You're
out
going
state.
to be
Barrier
okay.
is out of existence.
Establishing defense point. Cut me. No. Touch from afar.
This will only hurt for a minute.
Okay, I like the aggressive anti and sleep. Nice.
I've seen worse. You're going to live.
Get into position.
Taking damage.
Okay, noticing a little bit of overhealing. Now, that's not something that we would have talked about when we went over Lucio, but on Ana and other support characters, you can do what you call overhealing. And that's pretty much just anytime we heal somebody who is already full HP, or even when they are very close to being full HP, such as they're just down 10, 30 HP or such, right? So the problem, therefore, is that we end up wasting not only time, which adds up if you're doing it a ton, but then also you're wasting ammo, which now you're missing for when people actually need healing. Also, just noting within that, right, if you're only down 30 HP, in a lot of cases, there's other things that can take higher priority, such as reloading, such as looking for abilities, or looking for somebody else to heal, or looking for somebody else to damage, right? There's a lot of other things that you could be doing with that time aside from, from healing them up. So with exceptions, like in between fights, that's okay, and the likes. But that's just something to keep in mind, is that I'm seeing a couple shots where we're going for overhealing. So keep your eye on that.
Okay.
Heal up.
Recharge.
Feeling sleepy.
Draw.
Uh-oh. Make sure we're using cover and paying attention to where the McCree is. When he starts high nooning, you probably want to give him some attention, and because we were actually behind cover here, and then we kind of walk and stand right here on the open, right, for him. So making sure we're keeping line of sight on him.
Get back in the fight. ده هيكون مؤلم.
Okay, going back to here, right? Last time, do you remember us discussing at all how do you tell whether or not you've won or lost a fight?
Like the number of people on each team.
Yeah, do you recall, like, what were those numbers?
It's like if you're down like 1, then it's like disadvantage, or if you're down, is it 2, then it's like kind of lost, or is it 1 and 2, and then like 3 or more?
Yeah, so I'll give you a refresher. So first, it's watching kill feed. Kill feed tells you when you up or down people. It's 1 to 2 is an advantage or disadvantage. 2 to 3 is a won or lost fight, right? And then when you've lost the fight, you want to look to get out if you can. If you cannot, you let them kill you. So here, for example, right, this is very clear cut and dry. It's a 6v3. Therefore, this is a lost fight, and we probably want to be backing out and just flat up running away. But we end up staying here really long and trying to help out the diva when we probably should just be leaving her like for dead, because she's going to die no matter what. And then therefore we could probably get out, and I think we actually do make it out, but that's not going to happen if the team is better. And you always want to play as if the team is better, because then if you go up against the better team, you'll be prepared. So let's break it down a little bit, because you're confused a little bit on the numbers. So you heard me say like 1 to 2 and then 2 to 3. The reason why 2 is in the middle of both of them is because there's other things that impact whether or not you've won or lost the fight, such as other advantages and disadvantages, right? Such as which team has more ultimates and is using more ultimates, more abilities, closer spawns, better positioning, more health, right? Or which team has less health, right? Etc. There's more things as well, but those are a lot of the big ones, and those things also have an impact. So let's say, for example, we are down 2 people, right? So let's say right now it's a 4v6, but their whole team is 1 HP. Right? If their whole team's 1 HP,
Mhm.
well, that might still be winnable because you might be able to get a bunch of picks, right? But
Mhm.
if it's a 6v4 and you have no additional advantage whatsoever, well, then it's probably a lost fight at that point because you just have nothing to pull it around with, right? So that's a little bit more advanced on that. Here, probably should be backing up, but we're not currently. Just to
Get
check that
back
all
in the
makes
fight.
sense.
Mhm.
Okay, glad to hear it. So we do end up. Oh, we actually don't end up making it out. That's so that we don't end up getting staggered. Are you familiar with the term staggering?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So staggering is not very good to have happen. Here we have a nade. Make sure when you're 40 HP, you definitely want to be self healing with that nade, not tossing it aggressively. Right. So watch your own health and danger level so that we can be self nading. Additionally, also note current positioning. So I would imagine last time we went over good positioning is the usage of cover, bad positioning is the absence of cover. Yeah, maybe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then here and on, all right, we're just smack dab, smack in the middle of the open, right? And then therefore we have nowhere to run when Lucio starts shooting at us. So a couple things to note there.
Helden sterben nicht.
Just as a very minor example, right? This shot right here, this is an overheal shot right there, right? Right
Okay.
that. So that's just an example.
Barrier in place.
La oscuridad te espera. Der Kampf ist noch nicht vorbei.
Looks like now we get to play.
Touch from afar.
Now, hold on.
Okay. Once again, we're kind of re-peaking when this fight's already lost. Probably just want to be backing out because at this point, nothing we can do that will be able to retake it. So because of both of these, we've ended up actually staggering like during 2 of these fights and not really having much of an impact. And then now look, our whole team is actually back, and maybe we possibly could have touched, but now, like, because it's if we were up here now, it's a 4v6, possibly winnable, if we go in touch with ultimates and whatnot. But we're not there because we ended up dying. So that's again once again watching kill feed and what's going on in the fight.
Has reached the checkpoint. And you're powered up. Get in there.
Okay, so right now, 1, 2, 3, 4. Not like the worst nano because we also don't have any other. Okay, so I'd say this is on like a decent nano usage. I don't have anything. I don't think that it was the most fantastic usage. I don't think it was is bad usage. So it's just kind of a nano. Okay. When you throw your nades, do not attempt to hit people. Do not try to throw your nade at somebody, right? That's not your objective. Because when you try to throw your nade at Hog and you miss your nade, well, then nade just goes sailing past Hog and it misses and it goes nowhere.
Mhm.
Additionally, if there were people behind Hog, if you hit him, he would just body block it from hitting them, the people behind him. But what you want to do is you want to hit the ground because then the explosion radius is so big that it doesn't go sailing past, it hits him, and then additionally, if there were other people around him, you'd be able to hit all of them. It wouldn't block him. So when you're throwing a nade, you want to hit it at the floor, in between as many people as possible. Yeah, okay. Besides that, you could also sleep him too as an option here.
Barrier. My barrier is destroyed.
You're going to be okay.
What is that melody?
Go. I'll
Okay.
keep you healed.
No current positioning, right? Very out in the
Mhm.
open, not using cover. So just to confirm, right? We did just go on. We went in depth when it came to positioning last time, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. So just make sure remembering to use it. A lot harder on Ana than on Lucio, because on Lucio you have a lot more speed to get to for extra survivability.
Watching your back.
Surrender to my will.
Okay. Let us talk ability usage. So now that we're solidly in the game, um, ability usage is your carrying potential in Ana. That's how you do more than just exist. When you heal bot and you just go pew 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 heals, then you just kind of exist. You're there. Yeah, you're doing your job. You're kind of keeping your team up, but then beyond that, like, what is your impact, right? If you're think of it this way, right? If you're just sitting there and healing, and then you and then it's just up to your team to win the fight, right? Like it's very little of an impact unless you're just like the best healer out there. You're gonna have a very minimal impact, right? But
Mhm.
when it comes to your ability usage, a lot of times that you can get really heavy value out of that. So for example, take your nade. Nade, when you land like a 4 or 5, 6 man nade, in a lot of cases that can be even more powerful than your nano boost, right? And that's an ability that's on a cooldown. Yet we don't seem to very frequently be looking to land aggressive anti-nades, and when we do look to hit them, we either miss them or they're only connect. I think we've maybe seen like one single person get antied before, or two people, like individuals, get antied. So when we're
Mhm.
looking for nades, we want to, one, make them bigger, two, make them more frequent, and three, make sure that they're actually connecting, right? So when it comes to abilities, but make sure you're putting a lot more effort into them because they deserve a lot more effort, just because of how much they do. Um, Here, generally speaking, like you should pretty much, again, not in all situations, but trying to think here. Yeah, so if they don't have things to contest you, right? So they don't have, apologies, I had someone's phone go off in the background there. If you were in a fight, right, in a game, right, and they had a bunch of things to contest you, or they had a lot of things to pressure you, such as a dive composition. They had a monkey, they have a Genji, they have a Tracer, etc. Then you might want to hold on to your abilities. But if they have nothing really that's contested you, the only thing on their team that can contest you is the Sombra. Really, how often has Sombra contested you?
Not very often.
Not very often. So you could pretty much, so that's like, I would call that potential for pressure and actual pressure. Here, potential for pressure is relatively low, and then actual pressure is even lower, right? Because Sombra, Sombra, Lucio are maybe the only characters who can actually touch us, and then they're not really touching us at all. So here, we should probably be using our abilities off of cooldown, just every single chance we get, right? Just getting them out there. So when you're looking for abilities, you want both quantity and quality, right? You want them to you want to be getting it out there fast, fast, fast. Because if you're only looking for quality, right, and you're not throwing them out there, like you could be like getting them out like 2, 3 times as often and be getting so much more value. But on the flip side, if you're only going for quantity and you throw them out like every time you get them and every single time they miss, well then you're not really accomplishing anything either, right? So you need
Mhm.
both. You need quantity and quality. So make sure that you're looking for that. Um, we will continue to go over different ways that you can land your nades, but we'll end it here for just making sure you're looking for it as the main concept. So to confirm, does that all make sense? Do you have any questions on that?
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. Rewind 10 seconds. All right, make sure being aware of our surroundings. Diva's critical down there. Maybe she could be using our help if we are noticing faster. So just make sure we're glancing around, checking what's happening. Make sure self-nade once again. And then besides that, being once again, maybe being aware of our surroundings, because if we notice McCree's there, we could possibly sleep him fast. We can look to sleep him, get around the corner, etc. sooner.
I will keep you healed.
Get back.
See that which is unseen. Barrier in place.
It's just a scratch. You'll be fine.
Destroyed.
And just in terms of like one thing I will note, let's look over that for a minute. When you're nading, you want to look for people to group up, right? You don't want to throw nade at one person. You don't want to throw a nade. I mean, you can, right? You're not saying you can't, but generally speaking, whenever you're looking for a nade, you want to maximize the value. So you're looking for people to group up. You don't want them to kind of be off on their own. You don't want to throw it in and then expect them to group up. You want to throw it in when you see that they're grouped up. And throughout the fight, they're going to be grouping up on a constant basis, right? So we can just watch this fight, like even from back here, right? And just watch for times where they group up, right? So for example, right, just, all the way back at the start here, right? Right off the bat, 3-man anti-nade, right? If we land in the middle, three-person nade right there, right? We wait a second, 5-person anti right there. If we're just looking out up here and we just peek out the side and toss a nade in, 5-man anti nade if we land it right there, right? We can keep going even further, right? Still, they're all grouped up. 4-man anti nade right there, smack dab in the middle, right? 3-man anti nade right there, right? Keep going, right? 3-person right there if you landed on top of Lucio, or on the floor in between Lucio, right? Do keep going, right? Once again, we just do it anti-nade. Nice, nice. But that's a 3-person anti-nade right there. If we curve it, let's see how we threw that one. But like we curve it just slightly to the side, we get 3 people instead of 2 people. Okay. So like here, notice, right? If we just aim that a little bit further to the right so we can get in the middle of them, that ends up getting just an extra person in it. Now, positioning wise, I do not think that was a smart goal, smart thing for you to be doing. So let's just cover all the bases positioning. Let's just cover all of it. Okay, so you have general positioning, which we are not so when it comes to positioning, you just have a ton of different checkboxes that you look to check off, right? You want to check off as many as possible because that leads to optimal positioning. General positioning, right, applies to pretty much every single character. Out in the open, bad. Behind, next to cover, and behind cover, good, right? Here, smack down middle of the open, crossing this wide open path, bad, right? Not a very good thing to be doing, right? Additionally, something that applies to, once again, pretty much every single character in the game, high grounds are fantastic. Did we talk about high ground usage at all last time?
I don't think so.
Don't think so? Okay. High grounds, real quick. Let's discuss it. High grounds are fantastic. On a high ground, we can be up here, and the whole thing acts as natural cover, right? So let's just use your team, right? Your team can see you, back up, now they can't, right? The whole thing acts as cover because all we have to do is back away. They can't see us. Crouch, same thing. Right? Additionally, 2/3 of the characters in the game can't actually reach you without taking the stairs, right? And then the other third that can, they need to use their abilities, in which case now they're out of their abilities, which also gives you more survivability. Additionally, high grounds give you a ton of visibility where you can see a ton, right? I can see all the entirety of this whole point over here. I can see all of the high ground up here. I can see the entire, like basically the entirety of everything over here. Whereas if you're on a low ground, okay, well now you can't really see high ground. Very great. Well, you can't see over here. You can't see behind car. You can't see over here, right? So you have a lot more limited visibility from your position. Okay, so another thing, yeah. So that's the second thing, right? High ground's fantastic. Then you get into some like other things, like positioning next to health packs might be nice. That one's, and certain things are bigger than others, right? That's a very minor thing usually, but positioning in a health pack might be nice. And you always want to think about your retreat, right? Where are you going to go if you're trying to get away, right? So if you were to, I don't know, if you could have like a really good spot, but then let's just throw a random example, right? Like let's say we're over here and we think this positioning's amazing. Well, then where the heck or I guess let's say this, right? So let's say that the fight's happening over here and you're positioning up here. Well, maybe the spot would be good, but where are you going to go? You have to go this way to get back to your team, in which case now you have to run through the open, right? So how you retreat is another thing to consider. Okay, now we get into Ana specific checkboxes, or some of these apply to other supports, but more support specific, right? So when it comes to Ana positioning, you have 3 checkboxes you're looking to check off. One, can I see my team? You want to make sure. I think this one you've been doing a decently good job of, though a couple times where maybe lacking a little bit. Making sure that you have line of sight and visibility on as many teammates as possible. Now, does that mean if Farah decided to come like all the way over here, that you need to have line of sight on her and your team? No, because that's impossible. You can't really do that. But as many people as you are able to, you want to be looking at. 2 is can you land abilities effectively from your more effectively than average from your position, and that is going to be primarily called off angling. So off angling as a concept, right? When you're trying to chuck nade in, right, you have to get it through shield, tanking abilities, tanks themselves. You have to get it through your teammates who could body block it, right? Now, if you're trying to do that through the main angle, which this is, for example, would be the main angle right here, right? That means that your team can jump in front of you and the shields can get in front of you super easily and everything becomes an obstacle. An off angle is very safe and very fast, and it'd be something like it'd be like if you're positioned here and you take 2 seconds, come over to the right, now you just got around everything, right? You got around your team, gotten around the shields, gotten around the tanks, gotten around the tanking abilities, right? Straight into their back line, right? Something like that. Now, even better than down here would be like if you're up here, right? Because now up here, look how you just have a fantastic angle to land any nade that you want to land from up here, right? Because there's not really any obstacles that can get in your way, right? The high grounds all act as natural off angles as long as we're above them and they're not like a mile away. If Aristo's back over here, well, then she can just shield you off super easily. And then finally is, can the enemy team see you? If you are just flat up healing your team, the enemy team should not be able to see you, right? So if you, for example, right, are just healing your team here and you're just going pew 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 pew, why would you be standing on the open where they can see you when you could be, for example, like right here and healing them, and now the enemy team can't see you, right?
Mhm.
So there's all. I know we just covered a lot of different points there. Does that all make sense?
Mhm.
All right, so let's think about some different positioning options here. So if you are positioned here, how many boxes are you checking off out of everything we just mentioned?
Uh, Seeing the majority of the team, I guess, is probably the only one.
Seeing the majority of your team, yeah. So
Mhm.
visibility, yeah, pretty much it. Maybe just one checkbox. Um, and then I mean, like, let's say we're over here. How many would you be checking off? You can just list them. You don't have to give me a number exactly.
Uh, Off angle and the team.
Okay. So which should be the off angle here? Because this is still the main, right through here.
Oh,
From the left,
okay.
you don't really have an angle, right? This right here, this whole area is the main angle, right? To try to get an ability in from here, you're
Mhm.
gonna have to go through their shield, their Orisa shield, and their Orisa and Hog, and any teammates to walk in front of you, right? And it's also, just you can't really see much of their team from here, right? So, I would say not. This would be about average for landing nades.
Mhm.
So here you have cover. They can't. You can put them out of your line of sight. You have a health pack. You have a good way to retreat, but not great nade options, right? And not
Mhm.
great visibility to land abilities and to even see teammates like if they're up there or anywhere else. So I'd say the big thing is that we're lacking out on ability usage, right? Um, then next, right, let's say we're like up here, kind of pretty much the exact same thing, except for, we just can't land abilities, right? Now, if we're positioned up here, I probably say that this is pretty much the best positioning you could be in here because you can see your whole team. You have easy off angle from over here, or even if you're just like right here, right? You can land abilities from up here. You have an easy retreat option. You're on a high ground. You have cover to use, right? It just checks off pretty much most of the boxes. So
Mhm.
I would probably recommend be up top right here. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right.
The pain is
Unstable.
nap time.
Let the dragon consume you.
Uh
I
oh.
have your back.
Make sure you're just being aware of her surroundings, because Farah probably could have used some healing a little bit faster if you were watching for her.
And then
Okay. Walking through the open again. Good self-heal nade though. Okay. So audio awareness of, and visual awareness of Farah needs healing, and there's a McCree high nooning, right? We can sleep them there, noting that we're not really using sleep super frequently. I think we've used it maybe like twice so far. We can maybe like go back through at some point. I mean, like we can just count how often we
ready
use
for
it.
battle.
For some reason it hasn't been letting me adjust this. Let's see. Nope. Yep. It's for some reason that's not letting me adjust the time skip. That's weird. But here, we can just skip around, right? So the game starts, right? And we go, okay, that we could have used a sleep by now. We could have used a sleep by now. Could use a sleep by now, because that's so. By the time I use a sleep, we could have used it 4 times, pretty much, right? Or it's on the timer we're using it first. We could have used it 4 times, right? Okay, so use it again. That's good. So 2. And then we could have used it again there. Okay.
Help me.
Okay, so we use it 4 times.
Go.
Okay, that's good. Okay. Could have used it here before we died. Okay. Still going. Could have used it like twice by then. 3 times that fight. 4 times, right? So we could use it like 4 times that fight. We didn't use it all. Right, so you get the general gist. That's probably going to continue, but just using your abilities more frequently. Especially sleep, but then both of them. Oh, well, what happened here? So we got Hainoon, okay, and then that's it.
Take
1. Attackers incoming.
take your man.
You could just chalk in a sleep at the Lucio, right? Because think of it this way, right? Lucio, if you sleep that Lucio, does it not make him that much easier for your team to kill him, right? That pretty much guarantees a kill on him if you sleep him there.
Let's move out. Form up on the payload.
Same thing if you sleep Sombra over there on the right. Make sure we're looking over there and watching him. Same thing if you sleep Hog.
Watching your back.
So probably want to be looking for a sleep then. Okay. We also nade here when that's unnecessary. So when it comes to using team and self nades, you want to look to use them when you are both low and in danger. So I think that's maybe similar to what we talked about with Lucio amp heals. So do you recall? Did I define danger versus being low?
I think so.
Yeah. So danger, right? I can be 1 HP and over here and perfectly safe, and I can be in danger right here and be full HP, right? In either case, healings is gonna do nothing for why would I nade if I'm completely safe? Why would I nade if I am full HP, right? So you need to be both. You need to be low and in danger. Here, us and Diva are neither, right? We're down 20 HP, Diva's down 30 HP. Nade doesn't really do very much there. And then then that's wasted for maybe using it on the Hog or using it aggressively on these guys over there.
Activating the barrier.
I have your back.
Out of existence. Get over here. Enemies in our orbit.
Go. I'll keep you healed.
Pretty good nade. Another just one that I'm seeing is like right side. If you chuck it in here, you could get 3. You can get 3 there, right? So another ones to look for is over on that right side where there's a lot of people grouped up. If you move towards like a better angle, like let's say you were like over here on cart, that's probably like 4, right? So make sure look to put yourself in angles and look for bigger amounts of people, right? Just because that's right alone, right? A 2-man ante versus a 4-man ante, that's not just 2 times the value. That's probably more like 3 times the value than because it just is kind of not. I don't even know if I ever used the word right, but exponential. I might need to like Google the definition of that, but it's better.
Take your man.
Double kill.
Barrier get stabilized.
Translocating.
Still could be chucking in a sleep here.
Moving the payload. Let's party on. Suiting up.
Okay. So we are going to go over 2 things here. So firstly is your scope usage. So when we are going through our gameplay, You have 3 different types of scopes. You don't really need to focus too much on the third one for the moment, because it's a little bit more advanced and it's really not that big of a deal, but I'll still mention it. So you have unscope, hard scope, and quick scope, right? Those are your 3 different types of scoping. And they all have different times where you want to be using them. I haven't seen too much quick scoping, but like I said, not a big deal whatsoever at your current skill level. So when it comes to using the 3, you have different times when you want to use them, and the rough split between them, it's going to differ on the situation, but your rough split is 45% unscope, 45% scope, and then 10% quick scope, somewhere around that. Maybe I'd say you maybe quick scope a little bit more the higher up in rank you go, a little additionally, but yeah, that's your rough split. Now, advantages and disadvantages of each. Unscope, you maintain visibility, you maintain mobility, and it's also by nature a projectile, right? Which means that at ranges it's going to suffer because it's really hard to land projectiles at ranges because of the nature of projectiles. By the time you shoot, they've already moved, right? That's why additionally, chucking a nade at a distance not going to be too easy. Same with sleep at a distance, not going to be too easy because it's very hard to predict that far in the future. So, therefore, this is a close ranged part of your kit. Now, scope slows you down. It zooms you in, both of which are good for longer range shooting. This also slows your sensitivity, which is going to make it easier to hit longer range shots, where characters are smaller, and also it is hit scan, so you're firing immediately, which is again good for ranges, right? So therefore, you might have guessed a little bit of a theme there. Unscope is close range, scope is long range. So pretty much is going to be your ranges for the most part. 10 meters, so from here to there on a squishy target, so that's a non-tank, is going to be unscoped. Past that is scoped. 15 meters on a tank, because they have bigger hitboxes, so within this is unscoped. Beyond that is scoped. And then quick scoping comes when you're under pressure. So let's say you have like a DPS on top of you, but you still need to be hitting somebody at a distance. So let's say like we're trying to heal somebody who's 1 HP, and then we have a Pharah shooting at us or something like that, right? You don't want to sit here and scope so that the Pharah just melts you down because you're moving super slowly. Instead, you want to be, moving around while you're quick scoping, and then this gives you the hit scan shot while allowing you to maintain mobility and visibility. But why you don't use it all the time is because it is a slower rate of fire. Okay, and then you can also use it when you're coming back from spawn, like if you're really far away. So like let's say they're all the way up there. We're trying to walk back in. We don't want to sit here and scope because then they can just go, the fight could start, they could run around the corner. And we don't want to unscope because it would be super inaccurate, so we can quick scope as we approach so that we maintain our speed, get closer, then we can unscope. Okay. Then quick nade tech. So this only works if you are scoped. You cannot unscope for this. You need to scope up. You're going to line up your ultimate charge with an enemy, and then you are going to press your nade button, and that nade is going to hit them from any height or any range. So same thing. They're on a little bit of a slope this time, so they're below us. So I'm going to line up my Q with them. Now they're a little bit more even, and then this nade should hit him. So any height, any range, and that'll be a easier way to land your nades.
That's crazy.
Yep. Though don't use that when you're like right next to somebody. Not really needed. Wait, we weren't. Wait, where were we at? We were on. What map are we on again?
Oh gosh. Let me see.
Havana. Yeah.
Traveling to Havana.
Yeah.
Ready for battle.
I will keep you healed.
Don't know where I was. We were very far back.
Pick your resistance. Double kill.
I'm back in the fight.
The payload.
Yeah, so that should help increase your accuracy, because I'm noticing a couple missed shots where we're, or a bunch of missed shots.
Get in there.
All right. So we hit the soldier because he's running into their team, and the fight is young. I think that is honestly a pretty good nano boost, because the fight's still happening. They have a lot of teammates. They're ulting. We see soldiers low HP, and he's ulting. Pretty good nano,
You're powered up. Get in there.
if not slightly
This
delayed.
might work.
Okay.
Mhm.
Sleep, probably much higher priority here, right?
Powered up.
If you go
Get
for
in
the
there.
nade, sleep comes first here, right? There's
Mhm.
generally speaking, nade is the more aggressive ability, whereas sleep is the more defensive ability. But there are cases where that flip flops. Here, for example, that's one where sleep, you want to just sleep instantly, right? Usually it's nade first, sleep second, right? Here you want to sleep
Mhm.
instantly because it shuts down his ultimate, right? He just completely stops him. So if you're stopping an ultimate, an ability, if somebody's on top of you or a teammate, um, it can very easily stop the aggression. Now, this is just a, I don't know if you were a little bit further away and it's just a roadhog, then yeah, negating it might be just better, but here definitely sleep takes
This is
priority.
going to hurt. Nim. The payload is secure. Move it out.
Kill streak.
You're covered.
Mecha activated.
Do you have tips for like landing
Relax, you'll be
sleeps?
fine.
Yeah, so I mean, we can look back at this one right here. Crosshair placement wise, make sure that you're aiming, where they, they're gonna be. So like here, for example, we're just aimed very high up in the air. So like
Mhm.
no one's going to really be that high up in the air. So when you're aiming an Ana, make sure that unless you're aiming at like a high ground or someone's jumping or with the exceptions, you want to be aiming at body level, right? Here we're just aiming up really high. Additionally, putting effort into your abilities. So when you're using your abilities, you don't want to your mindset shouldn't be that you're going, because sorry, I'm starting over my words here. A lot of times
Never
when
stop
Ana
fighting for
players
what you
get into a fight,
believe
right?
in.
They'll go, okay, heal, heal, shoot, shoot, pew, pew, sleep. Heal, heal, shoot, shoot, pew, pew, nade. Right? It's very sudden. It's very just you're tossing in there really fast. Don't do that. Put thought and effort into it, right? So think about it seconds before you're actually using it. So for example, I could have sleep on cooldown, and I can be thinking about how I'm going to use it, 4 seconds before I actually use it. So I could be coming into the fight, going pew pew heal heal pew pew. Okay, sleep's coming off the cooldown. Okay, I'm looking for people, I'm lining it up. Okay, I see this person, I'm lining it up. All right, bam, I went for it. Right. So I'm thinking about it long in advance before I'm actually using it, so that I can actually land it effectively. Additionally, note that it is a projectile, so it has a slow movement speed. So therefore, you want to lead it. So that means that's the same thing with your nade, same thing with your regular unscoped shots. If something's further away, you need to aim it further ahead. So when they're right next to me here, right? I can pretty much aim directly on this person and the sleep will connect, right? My
Mhm.
crossers just aim directly on top of them. But when they're like all the way, even here or back there or all the way over there, we can't aim at them, because if I aim at them, then it's just gonna go behind them, right? So like watch here, I'm
Mhm.
gonna aim directly on top of them here, and oh,
Oh,
I
you
actually
look
hit them. I think I was
tired.
actually slightly ahead, so that's my bad. Even that guy might be a better example as well. So I'm going to track them, and it's just going to end up sailing behind the person rather than being in front.
Go to sleep.
Somebody intercepted it. That's not working out. But take my word for it, it's going to go behind them. So you want to aim ahead of where they're moving, right? And that's why it becomes difficult, because you're predicting where they're moving. So, this guy's going to be over there. I'm going to aim it right at the
Lights out.
doorway, right? Because I know how fast he's moving. I know when he's going through the doorway. So I'm aiming it, about 2 feet in front of him while he's moving. If they were like a mile away, I would aim this far at, aim, okay. If they're like all the way over there, I might have to aim like this far ahead, right? It becomes a
Mhm.
wider range. If we're next to him, then it's like more like just side to side, right? So those are a couple things. Also, I mean, I don't think I saw you doing it, but a lot of Ana players like to like randomly flick when they go for sleep. So they'll be normal, pew 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 pew, wah, and then they'll go for the sleep, right? So does that, some of those seem a little bit helpful?
Mhm.
Also, off angling, watching for the things that can block you, stuff like that.
Traveling to Havana. Ready for battle.
Feeling
Now show them.
This does not compute.
Activating self-destruct sequence. All systems checked out.
He can make me just, sleep, need.
dive in.
Not after he said.
You're going to be okay.
Impact.
Take cover.
Oh, let's break it. Damn!
Look to sleep him, because once again, you can shut down his ultimate. Nade is not a very high priority, right? Nade would just stop him from, like, yes, it would stop him from healing, but he has 1,000 HP, right?
Mhm.
Sleep completely stops his ultimate. It means that he can't use it. He can't go and kill people on your team. Can't displace them. So sleeping becomes a very much higher priority there.
Watching your back.
Vamos, escura!
Feeling sleep.
Very nice sleep. Okay. And
Help me.
okay. Nade there, because then we can save. Lucio's definitely in danger. He's definitely low HP, right? So if we nade right, oh, I actually missed the pause button there. But here, if we were to nade, right, we can end up healing up Sigma, healing up Lucio, who definitely needs it, and then also purpling the monkey, right? So that'd be probably a really good nade to go for at the moment.
Help me.
And then we throw it too late, right?
Yeah.
Ends up missing. And make sure watching for objects get in the way of our abilities, because that's another obstacle that we want to be aware of.
Mhm.
أنا هاخد بالي منك.
Okay, we're trying to back out of the fight. That's good. But we end up walking a little bit back in. We're also nading a little bit late there.
Helden sterben nicht.
What? Melody!
I will keep you healed.
When Monkey leaps you, expect him to have bubble, so he's not going to kill you immediately when a monkey jumps you, right? He's the tickle monster. He's not gonna be able to kill you instantaneously. So you can wait for his bubble to be placed, and then you can just, if he's inside it, you can just walk inside it and sleep him, or if he comes outside of it, then you let him walk outside of it. But don't rush it as he's coming in, because then you end up sleeping, and then look, you still, as of the time of you sleeping the bubble, you still have 120 HP, right?
Mhm.
Help shoot the monkey. You're doing a little bit of overhealing, right? Like everyone's full HP. You watch the health bars so we know what not to overheal. Here we probably want to be taking high ground, right? Maybe like the top left would be a good idea, something like that. So we're in better positioning. Okay. Right now we're looking to nano. Let's
Mhm.
analyze this situation a little bit.
I was definitely trying to get that soldier, but I couldn't see him.
Yeah. Do you think that this would be a good situation on Nano Soldier?
Um, Probably not because you can't see anybody.
Yeah, I would agree. That's probably the big thing, is that currently he just can't see anybody. So even if he's visoring, make sure you're looking around at your surroundings, because right now wouldn't even be a good situation to use it. Okay. Also, if you see people up there, need opportunity right there, 3-man, right?
Mhm.
So you can actually seek them out, but sometimes they also just present themselves to you. chuck it in there, right? That's like a 4-man nade. It's so juicy sometimes. I'm just like, I wanna like, oh, there you
This
go,
will help.
big, massive, right? 3-man nade, nice.
The enemy's
Little bit of
defeated.
aggro though. We're pushing forward a little far in here, and then that means that they're able
Name the
to get
payload
to us super
items.
easily. We almost die, right? Probably could have
Mhm.
died there.
Yeah.
So be careful about getting a little too far in.
Are you even trying?
Okay, sitting a little far back here,
Move it out.
Serve the barrier.
looking for abilities still, kind of holding on to
Get in
those.
there.
Probably wasn't the best.
Not like a great nano, because note that you do also have like nade that you can use if he's low and in danger. You also just can nade to keep him up, right? And then
Mhm.
that way you have your nano boost for like reroll maybe when he gets it, or maybe just a
Mhm.
better situation where he might be
Get in
able to
there.
do more, where like, you know, Sigma might be able to actually shoot more with his ult. Because here I would imagine he's not going to get a ton of kills.
Healing boost.
You can check a sleep up there, check a nade up there.
Barrier is fracturing.
This will
Oh.
only hurt for a minute. Dahay kung muklim. I've seen worse. You're going to live.
La oscuridad te espera.
This is going to hurt.
Okay. Nice. Okay, could be looking for abilities still here.
Practice.
Barrier won't hold together.
Get here.
Watch for teammates to block. Well, you have just to be aware of them. But you also walk. When you are aware of them, you can walk to the left, to the right. You can back up. You can walk past them. You can wait for them to move. You have a lot of options. Pretty much anything but throw it.
Right.
Activating
Oh, that's unfortunate.
It's hand.
Oh, Sigma could have fluxed back up.
I will keep you healed. The pain is coming.
Double kill. Flip.
You're going to be okay. Dahay Fida.
Observe the What is that melody?
All right, good job, Sigma. You did
I'm
it.
under attack.
Get back.
You're covered.
Right. Right now your team's staggering a little bit, going in without teammates and whatnot.
You're powered up. Get in there.
Okay. A little bit early to be nanoing
Mhm.
her, right? Couple reasons. Firstly, you're down 1.5 players, right? So probably better to wait for your team to regroup before engaging, because
Mhm.
if the fight has already started, if the fight was already beginning, then this is just a disadvantage, right? But why would you try to engage in a fight where you're at a disadvantage, right? So let's say for example it's a disadvantage. So a disadvantage means that you have like let's just make it super easy. Let's say that right now you have a 40% chance of winning, right? Rather than a 50% chance of winning. Why would you come into a fight with, and when where it's like 40-60 instead of 50-50, right? When you could wait an extra 10 seconds and get everybody grouped up and then make it 50-50 just by waiting an extra 10 seconds, right?
Mhm.
And it's probably more like, I don't know, like if we went in now, it might be like 35 or so, right? Additionally, note how far back Farah is, right? We want her to hopefully maybe be using her ultimate, but right now she's not in a position to use her ultimate. She's way too far away for that. From here, she
Yeah.
just has shields and tanks to go through. She's not close enough to really do very much. She's in a position where Diva could eat her all her bullets super easily. So right now, not a great nano timing, just because you want the fight to develop. Additionally, you also don't want to be using your ultimate before the fight's even begun. The fight hasn't started yet, and typically it's not a great time to use your ult, because now they have all of their abilities to block far with. They have shield, they have defense matrix, they can all run away super easily, they have amp speed, they have, everything, right? They also can put all their attention on Farah. They're not distracted, so all 6 of them can look at Farah and Farah dies immediately. But if the fight's happening, then they don't have abilities. They're all distracted, so maybe only like 2 people can look at Farah. And then Farah gets away with a lot more that's happening, right? So lot of reasons why probably better to wait. All right. So now we are going to, same as last time, do a review over everything we talked about. Do go over the main points and then wrap up from there. So ability usage, real
Never
important.
stop
Make sure you're
fighting
putting
for what you believe
effort, because
in.
that's how you carry as Ana. Make sure you're putting effort into both of them. Think about them ahead of time. You look for both quantity and quality. Sleep, aim ahead of them. Same with nade, right? Let's see. Nade, make sure that you are, for healing, look for, you heal yourself and teammates if you're low and in danger when you're using it aggressively, right? Scope tech, make sure you're landing it at the
Will only
floor
hurt
in
for a
between as
minute.
many people as possible. Be ambitious and look for as many people as possible. You want to watch for people to group up. Off angle, look for
Expected more from
good
you.
angles to land it from. Then watch for all the obstacles that can get in the way of both of them, right? Shields, tanks, abilities,
Double kill.
teammates, right, etc. All those things. Overall, probably a medium high priority for you to work on. Ultimate usage, make sure we're not using it in between fights. Generally speaking, start a fight is the best, mid fight is okay, late fight is situational, and then in between fights is very rarely do you want to do that. And so make sure you're not doing it in between fights. Don't do it when you've won or lost a fight. I think besides that, generally speaking, it was usually pretty decent. Yeah, don't use it to save somebody if you haven't, need to do it, and it's not great. They're not in a great position. Think about, like, where is this person? Is there anybody for this person to actually shoot at, right? Like, we don't want to nano somebody and then have no one for them to be able to shoot at or do anything against. Overall, though, probably like, I don't know, lower end of a medium for you to work on. Then comes mechanics. Make sure that you're thinking about different types of scopes. Sun scope is close range, 10 meters on squishies, 15 on tanks. Anything past those ranges is scoped, and then quick scope when you're under pressure. Besides that, watch overhealing. Make sure you're not healing when people are full HP. And then that is about it, I believe. Overall, that was like a low to medium priority for you to work on. And then you have positioning. Make sure that you are taking cover. There are a lot of times where you just kind of walk straight through the middle of the open,
Double
which
kill.
Enemy
has the potential to get us killed a lot, right? And take a lot of unnecessary damage. All the different checkboxes, right? Take high grounds. Make sure that you are thinking of a route, an escape route, right? Health packs are generally, they're okay to be next to as well. Though I do note that there are, and that for some reason I didn't realize this until like years after I started playing the game, and then I just kind of it clicked with me. There's never a health pack on a high ground.
always wins in
Ne-
the end.
never health pack on a high. Or sorry, that I guess that's not an end all be all. Well, in a lot of cases, there's not health packs on high grounds. I can maybe think like Gibraltar in the thing. So, but in a lot of cases, there's not health packs on high grounds. So, but high ground takes the priority anyways because it's better survivability, right?
Double
You need adult supervision.
So in any case, high ground health packs. 3 checkboxes of Ana positioning, right? Can I see my team? Keep visibility on them. That one you're pretty good on. But then even more important for you is off angling. Make sure you're actually able to see the angle, have better angles to nade with, right? And then finally, can they see you? If you're just healing, go like this, right? Overall, probably a low end of a medium high priority. And then finally, you have awareness. Awareness, pay attention to your health. Pay attention to your teammates' health bars. Pay attention to enemies' health bars. Where's the enemy team at? Where's your team at? Keep your audio awareness up. Pay attention to tab and pay attention to in kill feed, right? What's happening? Kill feed, who's up, who's down, right? 1 to 2 advantage, disadvantage, 2 to 3 won or lost fight, and then all the other things that go into that as well. Overall, just generally paying attention to your surroundings, and then that probably goes to a kind of in between a high end of medium and a low end of a medium high. So to put that all in order, number 1, ability usage. Number 2, positioning. 3, awareness. 4 is ult usage. 5 is mechanics, and then that is about it. Any questions?
I don't think so.
Alrighty.